value. Her name is Nicole. And what Nicole has done is, which is obviously you guys can read from the headline, she has closed $200,000 in sales in 1 month, 30 days, right? And also she did that on September, which she's waiting for the plaque. Nicole, show them the plaque too. Show them the plaque.
It's legit. I promise. I didn't print this out.
There you go. There you go. So Nicole, we're going to do an exclusive interview just for you guys. She's going to drop a ton of value. I've been seeing her post. She's been absolutely ripping it as far as sales goes for her personally. So she wanted to also hop on along and drop everybody value as well. So Nicole, first and foremost, obviously introduce yourself. Tell us where you're from, how you got started, and all that fun facts about you.
Cool. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you even just giving me the opportunity to drop some value with your group here. And so I am only been part of this group, I don't know, maybe like a month, searching around. And I was just like, whoa, okay, here we got Mastermind. And so I was just like, let me go ahead and add myself in here. And I just kept seeing like tons of good stuff. So I was like, okay, let me lean in. I got some value to share too. So I was really excited on that opportunity. But I'm out of California. Northern California, so right by the Bay, just like Joey is, and so there. So that's awesome. And so, I've been doing sales, 2007, and it was more of the educational side of things.
Wow.
So selling for profit is what it was, right? So it was really, hard sales, getting people in, paying $30,000, student loans, right? So I left that industry because for moral reasons, also government reasons, federal regulations. But I was able to help over 400 students get their degrees and make some really life-changing steps in their life that impacts, communities, their employers, the people they touch, kids, families, etc. So I see myself as not a salesperson, and I think that that's really, really key. Is to not pick up the phone in desperation of the sale, because you're going to lose every single time, right? Your job is to help that person make changes in their life. And if you can't do that, you're in the wrong business, right? So that's where it all started. And then
go ahead.
And then I jumped into being my own entrepreneur. I started a food truck and failed miserably, slanging tacos with my husband and our kids. And
where did that idea come from? From selling student loans and all that stuff to being your own entrepreneur and selling tacos. That's like a big 180
miserably.
I
think it was the trend.
Okay.
Food trucks started popping up all over the place in like
That's
2010, 20.
Yeah.
So we jumped on board, knew somebody that was doing it really well, but it wasn't popping out here in Brentwood. It was as far as food trucks. So we got out of that pretty quickly and went back into higher education and was a director helping entrepreneurs. So I did a lot of, again, selling and being resourceful and coordinating.
You went back in sales like right after that?
Yeah, just shortly after. It was kind of this slope of what is it that I really want to do in life, right? Mm-hmm. Because did I want to do educational sales? No. Did I love the outcome? Yes. But I kept struggling with what is my true identity? What is it that I'm really doing? Right.
Yeah.
And that sucks. I'm almost 40 and I'm just like, God, I should know what I want to do by now. Right. At like 35. Yeah. And I didn't. And so I did a lot of like self-evaluation, tests and analysis. And it kept coming back like coach, trainer, teacher. Right. And so I was just like, okay, I need to follow this avenue. So I was going into like HR and becoming like an internal trainer for in-house. And then got into the higher education again, worked with entrepreneurs, and we worked with multiple stages. So ideation, which is pre-stage, pre-startup. So it's those that have an idea but don't know how to take it to the next level. And then we worked with companies that were more veteran-owned, women-owned, supplier diversity, which has its own niche, that were up to like 300 million in annual revenue. So the whole gamut, right? So that was really awesome to connect with some really high-level thought leaders, executive advisors. So just dumps of knowledge, that I just consumed over those 3 years. And the company was a nonprofit, so they went, and took some large steps to eliminate their whole entire business spectrum at the university up there in Pleasant Hill. And about a year, I was like, where am I? What am I doing? Again, I don't want to go back into higher education, but that's what I know. And I got introduced to my influencer, and we met at the park. Literally, she was taken, her husband was dressed up as Santa, doing the whole neighborhood thing. And I was sitting on the couch, and my friend, she called me. She's like, "Come to the park." I'm like, "Girl, I barely have clothes on right now."
Right.
And she's like, "Get here." And I was like, okay. So I did. I pulled myself together, took the kids over, and met Krista within like 15 minutes. She's like, I'm looking for somebody like you. Let's continue to talk. So at that point, it was just.
How was that conversation like? When you first met Krista? So if you guys don't know Krista, she's in the Two Comma Club. She has a real estate program. She helps realtors out there really scale their business, really helps their business, right? And Nicole's a part of that journey with her. So how did you and her actually start off their connection? Because I know one of the things people struggle with is just building that connection with an influencer and potentially doing sales for them. So how'd that happen?
I think it was, and sounds strange because most people won't have the opportunity to meet their person, right, in person. And so I think we hugged, and it was kind of like, I've never met you, but what's up, kind of thing. Right, like that's like normal, but I'm a hugger, I guess. And so she's totally like real and authentic like that. And I think it was just kind of like, hey, tell me a little bit about yourself, and I told her, hey, I've been off for a year, right, and I'm looking for something that's going to really drive me. And just like her little pitch of what she's doing. And I said, great, that aligns exactly with what my background is, right? And so even though it was high ticket coaching that I was selling, I've also done high ticket closing, right? But it was more educational, which aligns with coaching. So I felt like it was a direct alignment, and heck, who doesn't want to work from home?
Right.
So,
and give us your experience working from home and just literally the benefits of, because to me, the way I think about it is closers, they're basically what I like to call it entrepreneur, right? Because you're basically are your own entrepreneur just within the organization. So and I feel that in order to be a closer, you do have to be entrepreneur in general, because there's you do have to know your numbers, your close rate, and you do have self-responsibilities. And it's you do have to go on your desk, take these phone calls, close the deals. You have to show up, right? And no one's there. And no one's there watching you. You got to go actively do it. So
somebody's always watching.
It's like the lifestyle of being a closer and doing high ticket sales.
Yeah, I think that's really good to understand, right? So I'm a mom of 3, so having the flexibility was super important. Dropping the kids off, coming home, just getting focused on what it is that I'm going to be doing, right? So use a calendar for everything, right? Schedule your day so you understand what that looks like, because time blocking is going to be your best friend. Otherwise, you're just like, oh, I'll do this. Oh, shoot, a text message comes across, you're distracted.
Distractions.
Yeah. Yes. And I think you were talking about that the other day too, right? Yeah. Being really focused. And it's really important. So before a sales call actually hits my calendar, right, I'll get a reminder. And so if I haven't been doing anything right before that, I'm getting prepared, right? And I really do due diligence before I get on the call with somebody. So I'm looking at their application. I'm looking at their online presence so I can tell them, hey, it sucks, right? Let's be real, right? How's this driving traffic? How do you use this? Getting them to tell me more than I'm going to tell them, right?
Yes.
And so that's how I stay focused. So I take, before, a lot of changes happened with the organization, I was probably doing anywhere between, 6 to 7 calls back to back. Now it's more like 4. I set my own appointments now. But that helps me have more control, right? And because I can set the tone, I can decline or, move forward. And I think that I appreciate having more control of my own day, my money, my time, all of the above, right?
Yeah.
Because when you don't have control of those things, again, it's just chaos. and you're looking in for desperation instead of, again, helping somebody.
And give us an idea of what packages you're selling, and if you feel comfortable with sharing, the commission rate, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, no problem.
But give us an idea of the packages you're actually selling, because I know there is, I know one point in time when I wasn't doing high ticket sales, I didn't even know people were buying things for like $30,000, $20,000, $10,000 in like one phone call, right? So what packages, like price range, are you selling? What's the difference as far as selling this kind of package versus like a low package, right? And all that stuff, right? So
we have 3 different levels of coaching: a 6-month, a 9-month, and a 12-month package. And so obviously there's different increments as it goes along. It's not just a longer duration of time, which is always the question I get. Well, it's just a duration of time. Why is it so much more? Because there's so much more value, right? We're going to drop all these things in there. But our lowest package is $9K. And then the next level up, the 9-month program, is $15K. And then the next level above that is $22K for a year. So, it's pretty impactful, but it's 10%. We, at one point, if you were hitting your numbers, it was 12%, right? So, I mean, you hit your goals every single week.
Oh, wow. Yes.
Making some money, right? But we've made some adjustments. So now if you're not hitting your monthly goals, it's 8%. But last month, check that box off too. And again, it's control, right? You can either allow yourself to be in that mindset of the company's changing, shifting. You can be mad, you can be pissed off, whatever. But again, you are only in control of what you have in front of you. So how are you going to make that happen regardless of the shift?
Yeah, no, for sure. So just to give you some facts, like not you, but the people listening to this, as far as working with an influencer and doing the closes for them, being their closer, one thing that you do have to expect is changes within their organization. So you do have to be quick to pivot, quick to adapt as far as like price changes goes and all that fun stuff. But if you're looking at what she's currently doing, 10%. So in one close 9K, it would be $900. 15K would be $1,500, and then let's do a 22K, you'll make $2,200 in one phone call, right? To me, that's insane, because I remember when I closed the first time I closed like a $9,000 package, and it was like a 12% commission, and I made like over $1,000 in 1 hour. I'm just like, it's crazy, because it's like, man, I'm making people's paychecks in 1 hour, right? What's the best month you ever done?
So it was 228. I think was the number. So that was the first month that I hit in August that award came from. And then September did 203. And so it was pretty freaking awesome, because we worked so hard. I was always so close. It was like 182 or like 191, so to be able to say 200K club, it was like, it was incredible.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, that is so sick. So give me a little bit of what makes you, what allows you to be able to close at such a high volume. That's what I want to get at. What makes you able to close these high ticket packages and close to an amount where you're closing $228,000 in 1 month? That's absolutely insane.
So the company they do great marketing, and like I got to give them that, right? Like this isn't just me. Like I do that extra, the influence, right? But if a organization, if an influencer, somebody that's offering, package of some sort, isn't doing like true indoctrination or doesn't have a brand or image or something that's trusted, right? Like Krista's whole thing, why she's doing this is because she changed and pivoted her business to allow her to continue to sustain and to scale, right? And that was 10 years ago when she changed her business. And it's the ability, because consumers changed. You and I, we buy things differently, right? Like
that's true.
We don't go into stores. Well, I maybe don't. And as many more.
I buy all my stuff on Amazon now. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I would say corporations used to be able to sell us via commercials because we used to sit in front of the TV and watch, right? But then DVR happened and all the other things happened. So technology, innovation changed the consumer's behaviors. And if business owners don't adapt to that, they're going to get stuck. So we, as salespeople, have to also adapt and align with behaviors of consumers and the way that they think and educate them on such a different level. And that's why I think that there's such a struggle with a lot of salespeople right now, because they don't have that mindset.
And let's deep dive into that. What's the three, let's say, mindset flaws that struggling sales rep has, in your opinion?
Mindset flaws. So that it's always about the commission, right? Like it's really not.
Yes.
The more that you serve, the more you're going to get. It's proven, right?
Yes.
The more value you drop, the more people are attracted to you. That's how you should think about it. Another thing is that there's no such thing as an objection. There really isn't. I went to a conference in Southern California with Jennifer. I'll have to get you her last name. It's like a Deppenstein something or other. Her training was called Millionaire. There you go.
Millionaire sales mindset. Nice. Female empowerment. I love it.
But so I went to her 3-day thing, and it's incredible, right? Because I came from a sales perspective, being in there, and everybody else was like a business owner. So trying to understand the business mindset of, they know their product and service, but they don't know how to sell it, right? And so that's real quick. Sorry to cut you off, but what it sounds like to me. So you're still constantly, correct me if I'm wrong, I already know the answer, but you're still constantly investing in yourself, into your mindset, into your skills. Is that right? You have to. You have to, because when you get into a so-called funk, right, or like your little streak of feeling like you're pretty crappy, that's here, right? So, people, you say, oh, stand up and dance or freaking jump around before you get on a sales call. I'm just like, no, I need to remind myself that this person that I'm about to pick up the phone and talk to, that's their problems that I'm trying to solve, not my own, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not here for me, because if I serve them enough, I will get what I need.
Gosh, I love you. You're like speaking everything in my mind. All right, so well, let's go back to the 3 mindset flaws, right? So one, obviously, it's not about the commission. It's not about selling. It's about serving. Right. Yeah. So write that down. If you're listening to Nicole's voice right now, it's not about selling, it's about serving. Next thing, there's no objection. And then the last thing, as far as the mindset flaws that you see,
I would just say, just like the whole education thing, right? Like continue to educate yourself, because there are so many impactful, thought leaders in this space. Mm-hmm. Not one is perfect, right? Yeah. Because it's about innovation. I think, what did you post the other day? Like the Dan Lok versus Jordan Belfort. That was such a great post, because people were just like, no, and yes. And then people were dropping other people, right? No, you should really think about this person or this person. And I think my whole post was, these people have all learned from each other and just made it better. That's what innovation is taking something that's already there, that exists, tweaking it to make it better. Mm-hmm. That's all it is, right? So refinement, finding out what your niche is and just serving it fully, educate. One of my colleagues, he uses something that's called, he's his own coach and stuff like that, but it's invest, learn, and teach. So what is that? ILT? Yeah.
Learn, teach. Yeah. Invest, learn, and teach.
Yeah. And that's all we're doing, right? We're taking what we learn and investing in ourselves, like I do constantly by being in your group too, investing in myself. I'm taking time. That costs me something, right? Yeah. And so learning it and then applying it into my sales calls. I'm teaching those little piece of nuggets to that call.
That's awesome. And speaking about sales call, if you guys maybe we'll think about it, right? So we'll think about it. But if you guys do a hashtag down below in sales call, then Nicole maybe might consider on sharing it with you so you could listen what a high ticket sales call sounds like. So if you guys think that sounds valuable, if you guys like that idea, go ahead and comment down below with hashtag sales call, and then maybe, just maybe, right? No promises, she might share it with you, right? So let's go to a beginner standpoint as far as sales go. Let's say I'm completely new. I have no experience. Where should I start? What should I do?
Okay, so this is what I did way back in 08 when I first got that role. I was totally green, right? It came from more of a customer service standpoint. So they knew I cared about people, right? That I was that nurturing, but I was still very green on the sales side. So what I did when I had free time from the phone, you know, blowing up dial for dollars is what we used to call those power hours.
Yes.
So I used to go and sit in the most seasoned veteran salesperson's office and just sit there and listen. That's all I did, right? I did that for like months. And again, it's those little tiny nuggets that you take. Right. And sometimes as I progressed and received promotions really quickly in that first year, 2 of them to be exact, it was pretty awesome. But so I used to sit there and I used to train then the new people coming in, and I would sit there and listen to their calls while they're going through it and actually help write the answers to them. So it helped me develop my listening skills even further to provide the answers, right? Because they were still looking for it. So it was like a double win, right? I helped them close, but I found value as being a leader.
Right. Wait, so you literally said, okay, I'm new, I love customer service, and I'm going to be in sales. So what you did was, your mindset was, I'm going to go to the top person, I'm going to listen in, and I'm just going to learn, and I'm just going to take all the nuances, see how he talks, his tonality. And how many months, if you had to put a number on it, did you do that?
Probably like 3 months consistently.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So you got to put in the time. You got to put in the time. The more that you hear it, the better you're at like repeating it. Like you have to learn. So you have to learn, you have to implement, you need to rinse and repeat in order to have mastery.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, because it's funny. I don't know if you know my story, but I actually got started in sales like in 19. When I was 19, I realized I was like, the only way I could help more people if I close more deals, because if I close more deals, then I have more training clients. So what I did is I took it upon myself. The first thing I did was I was just asking my boss, because he was the number 1 sales rep in our company at the time. And I was just asking him, I was like, hey, Reggie, can you teach me sales? He said, no. And then a month later, Reggie, can you teach me sales? No. Can you teach me sales? No. And I had a good relationship with him, but he had his boundaries, and he knew how to, he was a man. Let's just say that. Right. And he didn't see the worth out of me. So I was like, you know what, man, what the hell? I was like, I'm trying to learn sales. I'm reading all these books. And I was like, you know what, Reggie, how about I work for you unpaid, and I just shadow you. So that's what I did. I did it for 6 months, and it's the same thing. And then he realized I was serious, and I was closing deals, and then I got promoted. So don't be scared to work for free. That's my point of view. But don't be also scared to put in the time to learn under the people that is already paving the path for you.
Yeah. I learned from a philanthropist. Her name is Sandra Yancey. She does amazing things. She built one of the largest networking groups. It's called eWomen Network, but freaking phenomenal. But she says, don't be afraid to be the stupidest person at the table.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
It's true, because, what I see a lot of the time is somebody that maybe is limited in their mindset, or, feels intimidated, is that they'll never do that reach, right? Or they ask out of desperation, or they're always raising their hand, but never offering value first, right? Like, don't come at me asking me for help first, right? Like, get to know me, right? Like, show me that there's some type of relationship, there's some rapport there, right? It's not a just give you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And a lot of people expect that.
That's what I went over in my last live. I said the third thing I said about what closers are messing up a lot is they're coming from a selfish point of view instead of a selfless point of view.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's just making the other person win, and then that's literally it. Like it's a win-win situation if you always have that mindset.
Yeah, because I mean, I can add, you know, tons of value to people, but what are you going to do with it? You know, like how are you now going to change by just listening to a sales call, right? Like, does that make you like, how are you going to use it? How are you going to apply it? You know, if I tell you a golden nugget, are you going to go use it, or am I just wasting time?
Right. Yes. Okay. So now I know probably for sure there's going to be some people that reaches out to you right after this, right? Because you're a heavy hitter, you're a real closer, right? You deserve coffee. She's allowed to drink coffee, guys. Coffee's for closers. So with Nicole specifically, because I see this too. I see that a lot of people reach out for help. And one of the worst things you can do, especially with a high level elite performer like Nicole, is for her to share her time with you. And then the worst thing you can do, this is how you literally lose a relationship. And well, for me personally, like lose respect, is if someone gives you their free advice and really spends the time to help you out, and then you do not implement, and then like a week later, months later, you ask again for help. Like that's kind of a red flag on our end, because on our end, we have to protect our time, right? Like we have to know our worth at the same time. So just be respectful. If you're going to reach out to Nicole and ask for help, and she's going to share her time of day with you, do the respect by implementing what she actually says. That's what I say. That's what I just want to get out of this, because I'm pretty sure people are going to reach out to you. So I want to make sure that they actually get value, because I think that's what you want the most, is them actually getting results for their life. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like I asked the leads that I talk to, right? If I'm having a conversation, and usually at the end, most of the time, I probably should do this more of 100% of the time, but you know, hey, you know, before we, you know, get off the phone with each other, because our prospects aren't always like a one call close. So fortunes in the follow-up.
Say that again, please. Say that again.
Hashtag fortunes in the follow-up. Do not let go of people. They inquired because they need help. Okay. Yes. Just because they said no, that is, you didn't ask the right questions, or it wasn't the right time. So if you let them go, they're going to go buy from somebody else.
Yes.
Just fact.
Yes. Right? Yes. Okay. All right. So we've had, let's just say there's a little drama on our end, right? Me and Dylan. There was one guy, he was really annoyed that he was like, hey man, I'm just looking at the trainings you guys are setting up. I want a refund. I didn't know sales were 80-20 rule. He was like, majority of my sales should come from follow-ups. And then it's kind of just like, it's kind of like sales 101, and it's like sales common sense, you know? Like there's so much money being left on the table of closers that just do not prioritize following up. Now, how do you prioritize follow-ups? What do you specifically do? Any tips on strategies over there?
Right. So we have quite a few different systems. So we use like BombBomb, video emailing, video text messaging, stuff like that. So people like to see your face, right? Like you guys are engaging more because you guys can see us and feel our energy, and you're fueling off of that. People do too, right? It's not like a handwritten letter in the mail and you're opening it up, or it goes in the junk pile, right? Like you want to hear what somebody has to say. So it's engaging with people. Again, it's understanding your consumer, right? What's your, barrier, to entry? How do you rise above that? What is everybody else doing? How do you stand out? So a lot of that, just adding value. So we do a lot of links as far as like, hey, you told me that money right now is not something that's, available, right? So we have some links on how to understand how, borrowing money,
right?
OPM, right? Yeah. So it's allowing them to educate themselves more fully. Hold on one second. I got this puppy over here that's trying to chew something up.
Show the pup.
Oh my God.
The pup's a closer too.
You guys are gonna die.
Yes.
This is Elliot.
Is that a Frenchie?
Yes.
Oh man, I love dogs. My dog, my next dog I'm gonna get is an English bulldog, but that's a talk for another day.
Yeah.
So yeah, because a lot of the things, like, I don't know, I feel that, okay, so this is like,
Oh, let me add back into the whole follow-up thing. So
yeah, please.
So with our calendar, right, you can see who you've talked to. Obviously, you're making notes in the system, your CRM or whatever that is. But what I like to do is to be able to go back, like pretty much like looking back every week, right? Look back 1 week and then touch them, right? Mm-hmm. Hey, how are things going? Or, like this lady, she missed our call this morning. Her horse died, right? So of course,
yeah,
my feedback to her is, hey, try to stay really positive. I'm so sorry for your loss. Be human, right? Like, don't be an asshole. Is really what it comes down to. Is connect with people. Like, I have feelings. That would suck for me. Like, empathize, right, with that person. Or, 2 months down the road, I'll be like, hey, your daughter graduated from high school. I know that was something that you were going through. You're going to throw a big party, get her moved in. How are things going now, right? Are you in a space where you have less chaos going on, right?
Right.
Remember those things. That's why notes are so important, right?
Yes.
Like, when I'm doing sales calls, it's like crazy, right? Like, I'm a huge note taker, and
I have like all of my notes for all my sales calls.
You do it, but when you read back through those, you're like, this is some really good stuff, right? And so, just be real, be human. Like, follow up is so key. Like, those 6 sales that I had, my team was asking me, they're like, where did those sales come from? And I think 3 out of the 6 were like conversations I had in August or September.
Oh my gosh. All right. Let's do the little funny question. How much follow-ups is too much follow-ups?
Is this a trick question?
It's a trick question.
Until they tell you to off, then probably
that's it. Okay, because I'm managing a closing team, right? And there's just these little questions that we get, like how many follow-ups is too many follow-ups, and it's kind of just like, well, you can never have enough. Like, right. there's never enough follow-ups that you can make with a person. But let's go back to just the principles of sales. Like, I feel like people make it harder than it has to be. But if we were to simplify everything as far as being a closer goes, right? All it really is connecting with people, knowing your consumer, knowing their problems, presenting obviously your packages as the solution, if it's the right fit for their problems, and just following up with people that initiated, they have a problem, they're trying to get it solved anyways, right?
Yep, there's an abundance, right? And if you can't have an abundance mindset and you're always in that scarcity, it's never going to happen, right? There's several real estate coaches, several hundreds probably, right? What makes us stand out, right? Having an abundance mindset. We can't help everybody, nor do we want to.
Yes, I agree 100%. Trust me, I agree 100%.
It's a lot of work. I think it was on a training. Oh, it was, so this LinkedIn, his name is Joshua B. Lee. I was listening to a Facebook Live yesterday from like a business coach. Her name is, she's actually out of Berkeley, I think, Luz Gonzalez. And she had him on as a guest, like we are right now. And the whole entire idea of really just impacting people is the biggest key. Understanding your social selling, is absolutely incredibly valuable, because if you can't impact people just from, like, you don't know what your worth is, right? And if you can't apply that somewhere, your audience is never going to value you.
That's true. That's awesome.
So think abundance, right? Because I always tell business owners that don't implement, right? Because there's always those handful of people that go through a course and then blame the influencer or blame the coach because it didn't work, right? And I'll
mentality. Yep.
It is. And so I have to remind them that this is, you can have a lot of smart people out there in the world that acquire tons of knowledge and take tons of courses, but if they don't implement it, what was it all worth?
Right.
You know, they're the poorest smart people ever.
Yeah. Their mouths don't reflect their bank account. Let's just say that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's just say that. Awesome. So let's wrap it up here. If you were to give, let's do, actually, I'll give you an option. I'll give you an option, right? Option A is you can just go off the cuff on whatever you want to express to everybody in the Facebook group. Or two, obviously just leaving off with the question, just basically what makes you different, and then how can you separate yourself from all the closers out there to obviously just becoming the best closer you can be. So you have two options. Fun thing, you can answer both of them. So it's up to you. So whatever you want to do, Nicole.
So my biggest takeaway from everything that I've learned since like 2008 and beforehand, because life gives you nuggets all the time, even before you get into what you love, is just practice what you preach, right? Because there's a lot of people that don't do that. You know, they're all the hype, right? So if you're going to practice being authentic or talk about being authentic, like be that.
Be it.
Be that, right? If you want to be a salesperson, like, then be that. If you want to be a closer, then be that. But do the work that's required in order to be successful at that. It's not just jump in and boom, I'm selling a whole bunch of stuff. Like you said earlier, know your numbers, right? So, you know, this might not sound like really awesome, but every 3 calls, I'm selling something, right? So it's a 30% conversion. And in some industries,
yeah, that's 33%.
That's not good. You know, I'm in a group right now where their close rate's like 60 to 70. And I'm like, damn, that's hella good. And
damn.
So, yeah.
Damn, what the?
I need what they got.
70%?
But so again, I'm investing in myself. Like, what's different, right? Listening to those that have paved the road before me, right? That are doing $1 million a month in sales. You know? So find out what's differentiating you. Or are you stuck being at the table with the same mindset of everybody else, right? Level up.
That's awesome. All right, guys. So first and foremost, thank you so much, Nicole. This was very spontaneous because I'm a very spontaneous guy, and I'm happy she was spontaneous enough to jump in and also use the word hella, because that makes me confirm she is from the Bay Area, right? So happy she's here, a Bay Area folk, right? Just want to say, if you guys do want to get a sales call from Nicole, maybe, right? It's a good chance that she's probably going to give it to you, but maybe just drop hashtag sales call down below, and then we'll go ahead and we'll figure out a way for you guys to get the value of her sales call. But anyways, I just want to say thank you so much to Nicole for jumping in, dropping the amazing value today. If you guys like this, obviously give it a like, and we will see you guys next time. Any last words for the group, Nicole?
Nope. Just apply yourself.
It's super simple. All right, guys.
All right. Bye, guys.